So, the topic that you presented, I think it's an interesting topic because I think it's okay. Hold up. Hey, listen. If you want to listen, you have to sit down, and I need you to be quiet. Okay. All right. The topic that you presented, the science of mating, I think it's an interesting subject because during Ramadan, you know, even when it's not Ramadan, we've conditioned ourselves to go long times without sex.
Yes.
Because
Okay.
of the restrictive laws. And coming into the nation for me, I wasn't very sexually active, but I was sexually active. And even then, I was somewhat selective. Coming into the nation and falling up under the restrictive laws, and I wasn't always like very selective, but coming into the nation, you become very selective because your eyes kind of open up, your higher eyes come up because we're not practicing sex like we were before then. And then the courtship process, just the general moral principles of striving to be right. So what's prompted you with the topic mate selection?
I was reading Message to the Black Man, page 40. And then student minister Lee, my local minister, somehow talking about it. It wasn't last Wednesday, Wednesday before. He had talked about the science of mating that our former slave masters wouldn't teach us the science of mating. And when I read Message to the Black Man, it popped up in my head on page 40. I said, oh man, then I thought about the minister and closing the gap. In fact, I was trying to find it. I was looking for my closing the gap because I wanted to read what the minister said, his answer in closing the gap, but I couldn't find it to save my life. I mean, I found my closing the gap book, but I didn't find that part. And I thought I had it highlighted, but I guess I didn't.
Yes, sir.
I guess I don't. Yeah, but that's the minister said, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, there's 3 things that our former slave master wouldn't teach us. And it's the art of business, the science of business, the science of war, and the science of mating. And just think about slavery, they looked at us like cattle as animals. They breed us like we were dogs, animals. And the male they breeded the most called the stud. So subconsciously, we still got that mentality. We don't know the science of mating. We just, oh man, she look good. We get with a woman because how she looks, or because the sex was good, and same with them. They look at us, he's handsome, or the sex was good, or he got money. But we don't look at the science of mating. And I have some co-workers or former co-workers, they one was from Pakistan and the other from Afghanistan, and they were telling me they do arranged marriages. Both of them are Muslims. And then I had a lady before I joined the nation, I was kind of dating, and she was just passing time with me. She said, we can never be nothing serious and we can never get married because since before my birth, she said before her birth, her family already had her husband picked.
Wow.
So I don't believe in arranged marriages. I don't believe doing that, but I believe there is a science. And, some people, I heard celebrities go to matchmakers. And now they got these apps, and these apps try to make you match you up. They don't do a good job. But that's what celebrities do. They go to a matchmaker, a professional person that help them to find somebody in their in their bracket, as far as finance, because let's keep it 100. Maybe a male celebrity or a male athlete might marry somebody, especially if he's black. Caucasians, they're not gonna do that. You know, they not gonna do that. You know, that's that because they know the science of mating.
Right.
But and you know, and usually black women, celebrity black women and celebrity athletes, they ain't gonna marry the man working at McDonald's
Right.
at the drive-through or the cashier or the car wash. Unless they was already together before she blew up.
Right. I see what you mean.
Yeah. So
As you were talking about that, brother, it made me think about the followers of Yakub.
come on.
In the history, there was Yakub wanted those of his initial followers. He encouraged them, and I'm assuming that this is happening over the years after we left Arabia and went into the Isle of Patmos. That the law was getting married at 16. Be healthy. You got to be healthy. You have to get married at 16. And so, as you were talking about the brothers from Afghanistan and Pakistan, why do you think they arranged the marriages? Did they ever explain to you why they arranged?
Oh, yes, they explained it to me. Yes, it is dealing with wealth or finances and their tribe or their family's names. They don't, as the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said, a good name is better than gold. They don't want to marry somebody that's going to tarnish their family's name.
Wow.
And some of them marry their own cousins.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. One, a sister, she told me she courted her cousin. Her first so-called boyfriend was her cousin. I'm like, ooh, you know, we don't get down like that. That's some trailer park stuff out here. Yeah.
That's right.
That's
right.
something Bubba and Peggy do. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we don't do that.
Yeah.
But I thought that was nasty. And she said, you think it's nasty. But in my family, and I'm thinking that's where that saying comes, keep it in the family.
Oh.
You know, they want to keep their wealth in the family. I heard the Rockefellers.
Yes.
I heard they married their cousins. And those that's watching our show, that watch our show, I'm not telling you to marry your cousins. We don't get down like that. No, I'm just using. We don't get down like that. Yeah. We don't even marry. Sometimes we don't marry friends of the family. You know, our play cousins.
What do you think? Settle down, son. So, do you think if somebody, let's take the Rockefellers, or as you say, somebody who has a lot of wealth? I guess their idea is thinking like, well, who can we trust? Who can we trust to bring into the family who won't mess up the money, who won't mess up what we got going on?
Right.
Do you think people up there like that have much people to select from?
Oh, that's a great question. I think they probably hire somebody or ask different friends or family members, do you know somebody we can match? You know, like kings do. When they're looking for a prince or a princess to marry, they look around different countries. They did matchmaking. If you watch the Spanish princess, white princess, the white queen, it shows that they did arranged marriages. And when they did arranged marriages, it's like, all right, you got a stronger army. We need your army to support us. We got gold. We'll fund you with gold. They did business transactions through those marriages.
Right.
And that's what one of the Muslim brothers told me they do. Like one family might got, cattle, and the other family might got a lot of goats. So they say, hey, I'll give you 5 goats and my daughter to marry your son for 2 of your cows. To us, that's not something we used to. So to us, it's like, that's pimping. I'm not about to pimp my daughter out. I might pimp my ride, I pimp my home, but we just gonna have to, make a deal or something. I might have to work with you for a little while to get one of your cows or something. Right. I ain't giving you my daughter. Yeah, but we think that's crazy because we're not used to that.
Right, that's true.
And you remember the minister talked about that. He said the most honorable Elijah Muhammad wanted to bring their families together.
Yeah.
And the minister first, he was a little surprised and shocked about it, but the most honorable Elijah Muhammad was teaching him the science of mating.
That's interesting. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Then so here he is. Thinking about somebody marrying my daughter one day, it definitely puts me in the mindset of, for one, I want her to get married. I want her to get married. Okay?
Right.
And I want her to have the best choice that she can get. And I know that if I want that for her, that means I'm going to have to invest money in making her into a woman so that she grows up around the type of women that a good man like that would be pleased with. And so for me, those are those things I never even thought about doing. I never wanted, because I looked up the word mating.
It's funny, I did it too. I got the definition right here.
What definition did you pull up?
All right, I'm gonna bring it up right now. All right, because I had looked it up. I got mating, the pairing of a male and a female for the purpose of reproduction.
That's a similar one.
What did you get?
I got something very, very similar. It's almost word for word.
And one of them say animals. I found it was the mating of animals, and I'm like, nah, it got to be deeper than that. It got to be more than that.
Right.
I'm not no animal.
Right.
That's why I kept on searching, and I found that one. I said, this one I'm gonna roll with.
Yes, sir. And it's not like that human beings don't mate, but it's just funny how they talk about it. They only put it in the context of animals. Even they practice this with us and with themselves. At least the wise of them do. So let me ask you this, Brother Damon, like when you were going into having children, like when you got married, what was it in your first wife that you saw in her that made you say, wow, okay, I like her, or at least enough to marry her?
My first wife, I met her before I had joined the nation. So I met her when we were teenagers, when I was the little knucklehead game member dope dealer. And she was different. She wasn't like all the girls in my neighborhood.
Yes.
And I didn't know till she moved to Oklahoma. I wrote her and told her I joined the nation. She called me and she said, Assalamu alaikum. And I'm like, who the heck is this?
Yes.
And it sounded like her. And I'm like, who's this? And she said, she said her name. I said, who taught you the greetings? She said, I'm Muslim. I said, you're Muslim? I said, what kind of Muslim are you? She said, I'm Muslim like you. I said, nah, you probably not Muslim like me. I'm with the Nation of Islam. She said, I'm in the Nation of Islam too. I said, what? And she said, yes. I said, you lying. She said, yes. I said, how long? She said, since San Diego. I said, for real? She said, yeah. I said, what mosque she went to? And she named mosque number 8. I said, who's the minister, San Diego? And it was Minister Raheem Muhammad. May Allah be pleased with him. She named Minister Raheem Muhammad. I'm like, wow. That shook my brain.
Yes.
And I was like, I always knew it was something different about you. You didn't drink, you didn't smoke, we ate pork, she didn't.
Yeah.
I thought she was a vegetarian. I said, now that explains why you stood out and why we called you the good girl.
Wow.
We handled her with care.
Wow.
She didn't drink, she didn't smoke, we didn't bother her. And we'd be like trying to peer pressure, hit this joint.
Yeah.
No, don't. And they'd be like, we just messing with you. And we wouldn't bother her, because we respected her.
Yes, sir.
So when I found out she was in the nation, I'm a man that believes in signs. And I believe everything happened for a divine reason and for a divine purpose. Right. There's no such thing as a coincidence. And I said, man, maybe that's why we met. when I was in the world.
Yes.
And I thought, we would be compatible because she saw what Islam done for me.
Right.
But really, like I said, I was real gung ho. So,
Yeah.
it could have worked. It could have worked. But, remember I told you in my immaturity, I did God, nation, then family.
You're right.
When the minister said it's God, family, then nation.
Yes, sir.
I tie God and nation together because I felt when I'm doing for the nation, I'm doing for God.
Right.
And the nation saved my life. So I put her on the back burner. But to answer your question, that's what I felt that at the time, I felt she was like my soulmate.
Wow, that's interesting, brother. I didn't know that. Like, and so when you got into the nation and you find this out, it was only the natural choice. You were only the first. I'm sure that was on your mind, like, oh wow, we gonna get married.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. But let me tell you this though. I got to tell you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
I got to tell you the truth. I didn't think she would be interested or court me because I dated her cousin. That's how I really knew her.
Yes.
But her cousin, when I joined the nation, we kind of, because I was on a different path, we went separate ways.
Yes.
And she knew I was with her cousin, and she gave me a chance. So really, in my mind, I wanted to court her and marry her, but I didn't think she would give me the chance. And when she did, that's how I ended up in Oklahoma. When she gave me, I packed my bag. Since we decided we was gonna, get married, I left everything.
Yes, sir.
I was quick, moving fast, thinking right down to the holiday time.
Yeah,
I took
right.
I got a Greyhound trip, quit my job, and moved to Oklahoma.
Yes, sir.
I made it happen.
That's right. That's
yeah.
So,
yeah.
And I know, was there what I've noted in, like, if I'm thinking like Elijah Muhammad, here he has a family,
right?
He's got children, but he's and as I think about it, I'm not sure which of Minister Farrakhan's children were paired with the children of Elijah Muhammad. Which of the children? I'm curious which of the children. Because I'm pretty sure that when you want to put the families together, I never looked at a woman and her family like that.
Man.
As I look at it now, as I look at the children that I have now, I say, okay, well, shit, this wasn't a good choice in terms of long range. And I think, like with my mother and my father, much of them, they didn't really know each other. My grandfather didn't seem like he was too much involved in telling my aunt and my mother pretty much anything about mate selection. Because with my grandfather, what my grandfather told me was, my grandfather met my grandmother because somebody said, man, you and my grandmother Tessie, they just had their anniversary yesterday, was their 50th anniversary. Right. They both passed on. But somebody kind of put them together. Someone put them together. And so I imagine a lot of thought goes into this because you're kind of taking the lust out of it. Taking the lust out of it, you're looking at people's characteristics, you're looking at their financial situation. With any of your wives that you were with, which one did you put the most thought into?
My first.
Yeah.
My first. That's the truth.
Yes, sir.
She was my first for a reason. Yeah. But I wanted to say something. My second marriage, right? The signs of mating. My minister at the time, when he found out I was courting my second ex-wife, he wasn't happy about it.
Yeah.
And I was offended because he said some words to me in front of some of the brothers And I felt, you know, if he would have pulled me to the side and sat me down, talked to me, because he straight up say he was against us courting. He wasn't for it. And I was offended. Yeah. And I was offended because I know he knew some bad things about me. So yeah. I thought he was saying she was too good for me. And it wasn't too after me and her got married, me and him sat and talked. If we would have had to talk before, because he knew the signs of mating, maybe I would have saw things differently. In fact, if he would have brought me and her together and talked to us, maybe, you know, we probably wouldn't have got married.
Right.
Because she was from a family that was well-to-do. You know, she grew up in a house with a mother and father, and she was born in the nation. And he knew that, you know, her lifestyle, how she grew up. And then he know by, you know, soldiering with me and building a brotherhood with me, he knew my lifestyle. And he said we was not compatible. But that, if he would have set us down, and that's one thing we need to do, start doing is, you know, sometimes we don't want to do it with our local minister or our local laborers because sometimes they do be hating, you know, because say if the brother or sister is single, they might have their interest on one of those. Right. But even if you don't do it with your local, you should do it with somebody, you know, and that I think that would help us a lot. And that's why our divorce rate is so high too, because we don't know the science of mating.
Right.
Yeah, we get married because, you know, like equally yoked. I think me and you talked about it. You know, at one time, I thought equally yoked, as the Christians say, is somebody in your faith. That's it's deeper than that. Right. Just because somebody say, Assalamu alaikum, wear a bow tie and a hair piece, you know, don't make them your equal. And just because you both go to the mosque and always at the meeting and you're soldiering, no, it's deeper than that, you know? Yeah. Because you got a vision and she got a vision, or she don't have a vision and she's not willing to support, make your vision a reality, or your vision and her vision is a conflict, it's not going to work.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, one brother that I think we both know, Brother Keith.
Oh, he was my first officer in San Diego.
So when I met Brother Keith, when I met Keith, he mentioned you, and I said, "Yeah, I know Brother Damon." And I said, "Wow." So him being in San Antonio at the time, he said this to me one time. He said that I know a sister who would be good for you. You know, because he got a chance to see my second wife and the choice I made with that.
Right.
And he was like, he looked at me, he said, "You have wounded bird syndrome."
Say that one more time.
He said, Brother Keith told me I had wounded bird syndrome.
Oh, yeah, you got to break that down to me.
And he said, you like to take a bird that's wounded. You are drawn to wounded birds. So when he told me that, and I looked at my situation, I said, damn. What I'm attracted to may not necessarily be the type of woman I should get with. Maybe this is like the work that I should be involved in.
Right.
And it made sense to me because of what I saw my mother go through. It made me super sensitive. I mean, Brother Damon, it's to the point where if a woman sees something in me, I gotta ask her, what do you see? Because I don't want us to get confused. Are you looking at, and most of the things that women see is they see that I have something that will guide them out of their situation. So my problem was I would connect that in terms of a relationship instead of just finding out, well, what is it? What are you going through right now that you need guidance out of? Same thing with my first wife. And so that's why I see when you talked about us talking about this, I think this is a good conversation, because if if I would have been more patient, less involved, maybe I would have seen the value. I would have seen some of the things, the reason why I probably wasn't ready to get married, you know? And so like at the end of my first marriage is when we got into Dianetics. And that's when things really began to open. My eyes started to open about, man, I haven't even touched the shit that I got going on inside of me. I ain't touched it yet. I hadn't touched it really until I got out of my second marriage. I really didn't understand it. And I think that's what the arranged part is. For your do you have anyone in your family that you would say, like, this is a couple in my family that I really look up to?
Was you asking me a question?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you was making a statement. Say it again. I'm sorry.
Is there?
I'm sorry. Also listening to you.
Yes, sir. You paid attention. Yeah. Is there a couple in your family? Let's say in your immediate family, that is a couple that you say, this is a couple that I really look up to?
Wow. In my immediate, see, most of the people, the only ones that's married in my family was married was my sister, my big sister. Yeah. You know, so, and they were married for years, and they were together, they dated for years, but I think my sister was the glue to that marriage. So to be honest with you, I don't have that in my immediate family. The second person that's been married for years is my auntie, and she's married to a Caucasian. They've been married about 20 years, and hey, they say love is blind. I was not happy about her marrying him because we were real close, but hey, that's who she chose, and I'm not gonna disrespect him, because I love my auntie and she loves him.
Right.
So I didn't have that. You have that in your family?
I do have one. I have my uncle Larry. Now, my Uncle Larry was married to my mother's sister, and he made 2 children that I grew up with, and it didn't last, but he got remarried, and his second wife is more fit for him, more fit for him, and I understand why now. I understand why they were fit, because he's a high earner. And he wanted my aunt to stay home. Now, my aunt, she grew up watching my grandmother be a housewife. My grandmother was a housewife. My grandfather told my aunt to focus on getting a job. Like, in a sense where he told her that because my aunt wanted to be a teacher. He convinced her to go into the banking system. And that very choice is what messed up them staying together, because she didn't want to stop working.
Wow.
And she was working late at night. So he's working in the day and she's going to work at night. They got 2 young children, and her health, their health wasn't the same. Though they both were smokers, something happened to my uncle along the way where his mind, because he eventually became a pastor. He's got his own church now. And the woman he's with now is fit for him.
Man.
And I was like, what? Like, I wonder how they found each other. So as I imagine, thinking of having children, having sex, making sex is, do you think that having children is, because we're taught in the nation, in Islam, that marriage is half a faith. That doesn't mention having children. It just mentions being married.
Right.
Do you think that having children is something that's necessary in a marriage?
I believe so, especially in our nation, because
Yeah.
we're taught in the Nation of Islam, there's no life after death.
Right.
And we live on through our children. So, our children is our precious cargo.
Right.
So, we live through our children, and that's part of the science of mating. And the minister did a series of lectures called How to Give Birth to a God. And it's the science, the woman's the first teacher. Remember, I said before, probably wasn't last week, probably the week before, the woman teach from the womb to the grave. Even though they say the cradle to the grave is the womb. She's teaching the baby how to think, how she feels, what she sees, what she hears, and the baby hears and sees through her eyes, feel all that. Right. That's why in How to Give Birth to a God, they're not supposed to go to a funeral, not to watch certain movies. They're even, and you can bear witness when the woman in the nation becomes 3 months pregnant, she's not able to tend to the moms. Right. Because we got to protect her and the baby. Then she's not able to go back to the baby's 3 months. So signs of mating too, that's why I want to talk about that, because we got to choose a mate, male and female. Like, do I want to have children with this person? Right. What kind of child is this person going to produce? Male or female? Because it says in the book of Psalms, ye is all God. Right. Ye is all gods, children of the Most High gods. We're not humans. We are gods. Right. So we are trying to produce gods. And we might get with a mate that might produce a devil. And what is a devil? A devil is one who does evil. You drop that D in devil, you got evil. Evil, yeah, that's right. So look at the word God, you put another O behind that O, you got good. Right. So we want a good mate to produce a God that does good. Right. That's right. Because a good name's better than gold. Yeah, and we don't want no woman and no children, because children could mess up your name too. That's right. Oh, I saw Damon Jr. on Cops last night. He robbed the store and had to shoot out the police. And then you see everybody saw on the flashing news in big bold letters, Damon Jr. Muhammad. You like, dang, my son, bad enough you had that white girl last week. Now he on cop. So yeah, man, it's important. Yes, and I think about that now. You shouldn't share what we pray about, but I'm gonna share it with you. Yes, and this is good for other people. I pray to Allah to give me patience. Yes, sir. Because and it says in the Quran, Allah say He created man in haste. So us men naturally don't have patience. That's right. And patience is a virtue. So I want patience because I want the right mate, and I want to stay married to the day Allah calls me back to Him. Yes, sir. And I want the right children. You just have 2 children, right? Yes, sir. Right, just 2. I didn't hear your answer. Oh yeah, I have 2. It says the internet is unstable. And we freezing up. I don't know if it's okay. Yeah, it's over. I think it's over. Nope, it's doing it again. Yeah, it just froze. Okay, I think we're live. Nope, you froze again. Is it freezing up on my end? Yeah, you're freezing. So on my end, it looks like you're freezing, and on your end, it probably looks like I'm freezing. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Right. So I have 2. Yeah. So I got 4. Yeah. And afuera. I asked myself, because I want them all. And I asked myself, and I asked Allah, but brother, you're gonna have to say that again because you froze. You said you said you wanted what? I look at my daughters and I wonder, are they gonna grow up to be in the nation? And I want them to be in the nation. So, that's one of my concerns when they grow up, because I got an older daughter now,
Yeah.
And she's only going to be 21. Things could change, and I see Islam is in her,
Right.
It's still in her. Now I can see that I did a half decent job and her mom has, but I just pray, that she comes in,
Right.
all my daughters, because I want them to help the minister in our nation.
Right.
Regardless if me and their mothers are together or not. And that's what we got to think about when we get married. We got to project the future. In business, they call it forecast.
Right.
We got to forecast, project the future with our children. Because if you got a business like Walmart, Walmart is a family-owned business. That's what the signs are made. They pass it on to their children.
That's right.
Man, before I want to say this.
Yes, sir.
I don't know. You watch Power. I love Power, the movie, the TV show Power.
I never got.
All right, so I'm on book 3.
Yeah.
I don't want to give away. Book 4. Book 4 is on right now. But it's a man, a white man, and his son was dating a black woman. He they're Irish. The father is totally against the black. He was against his son being with the black woman.
Yes.
And he was so against his son being with the black woman, he went and met with the black woman and told her, I don't want you to be with my son. Wherever y'all have, I want y'all to cut it off. But the son is in love with her. But he's trying to teach his son the signs of mating, and the son, and even though his son don't see it, his son, love is blind. He see, I want to be with this black woman, and the black woman want to be with this white man. But the father too is a successful drug dealer. Yeah. I guess he's a mafia man, a godfather. The father wanted his son to keep his business going, and he felt that the business would get tainted if his son get with the black woman, and plus other mob godfathers might look at that as a weakness.
Yes, sir.
So the father looking at all that, they're like, how would our family, our immediate family deal with this? How would people we conduct business with this? How would our enemies look at this? Yeah.
Yes, sir. And that's from and have they got to has he made a choice yet where you're at in the series?
Well, I'm gonna give it to you. Spoiler alert, she got killed.
Okay.
I don't know if, it made it look like some of the father's enemies did it, but who's to say the father didn't do it? Because he was gonna leave and be with her.
Wow.
He was fleeing the city to start a new life with her.
Yeah.
And when they were leaving, she was killed.
One of the students I teach English to, so she speaks primarily Spanish, and the man that she has children with is a man from India, and she's from Costa Rica, and his culture is your family chooses your wife for you. So what his brother and his other the man and his brother did, they end up leaving India and going to another country to do their business, and he found a woman there, and so I know those type of restrictions, you got some who will do it, you got some who won't do it, and so I think that the drama of it all, because even the two of them, they don't really even know if they're going to get married or not. But they have this little girl. But they were both very good at business. Both very, very good at business. And so that's how they end up having this child. Do you think that as you look into the future, as you look with, let's say your youngest daughter, because I think about this with my young daughter. do you think it's important for children to be in the same area so that possibly when they grow up, there'll be somebody in the area that you be like, oh, okay, this is somebody that I think may possibly be a good mate for my daughter?
You know, brother, as we say, speak the truth, shame the devil.
Yes, sir.
When, you know, I used to work with the junior FY in Dallas for many years. I used to look at the junior FY like, that brother right there. You know, certain brothers I would look at and say, yeah, when he grew up, if he wanted to marry my daughter, he had my blessings.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so, you know, step again.
Yeah, okay, we're back. Nope, we're froze again. Yep, long freeze. There we go, we're back.
Oh, man.
Oh, we're froze again.
I said something about the Jews and it really started freezing.